The California Republic is constructing its first high-speed rail line that will connect San Francisco, Los Angeles, and Anaheim and travel at speeds up to 220 miles per hour. Eventually, Phase 2 construction will provide high-speed service from Merced to Sacramento and Los Angeles to San Diego. The entire project has met numerous challenges in the form of land acquisition lawsuits and unstable federal funding since breaking ground in 2015. With no construction timeline for Phase 2 on the horizon, will California's second largest city ever receive fast train service to LA and beyond? Find out next on Imaginary Lines.
3, 2, 1, go!
In retrospect, we would probably have operational high-speed rail service today in California had the Los Angeles to San Diego segment of the project been given priority. The shorter distance and higher population density of the planned Phase 2 corridor area would have provided substantial proof of concept for delivering the first genuine high-speed rail service with speeds over 200 miles per hour to Greater California and North America. Los Angeles and San Diego are the most populated counties in California, followed by Orange, Riverside, and San Bernardino counties. Today, more than 21 million people call Southern California home. Decades of sprawling low-density development around multiple centers has caused the cities in Southern California to blur together into one mega-region.
We are, quite frankly, not equipped to deal with this situation.
There have been no deaths of unnatural causes in San Angeles in the last 16 years.
The Santa Barbara, Los Angeles, San Diego Metroplex were merged in 2011. You are in the center of what used to be Los Angeles.
The cities of Los Angeles and San Diego are only 120 miles apart, which translates to roughly 2.5 hours apart depending on congestion on the 5 freeway. So despite delays if you're traveling to Comic-Con, the planned Phase 2 corridor of the California High-Speed Rail project is 167 miles in length and will run east from Los Angeles Union Station through the San Gabriel Valley to San Bernardino, then southward into San Diego. There is no construction timeline for Phase 2 of the bullet train, since its completion relies on delivery of Phase 1 and the electrification and modernization of existing intercity rail corridors in Southern California. One of the primary concerns against prioritizing the LA to San Diego project segment early on was the potentially high cost of land acquisition along the corridor. I question this decision because land in Southern California doesn't typically become cheaper over time, but I digress. The 520-mile Phase 1 that will connect San Francisco to Los Angeles and Anaheim began construction in 2015 with a projected price tag of $33 million and a 2028 completion date. Land acquisition and costly oversight and management from dozens of private consulting firms have resulted in tremendous delays and cost overruns. 119 miles of track and supporting infrastructure have been constructed in the Central Valley between Bakersfield and Merced today. Plans are now moving forward with the Silicon Valley to Central Valley line expected to be in operation by 2029, with service to LA and Anaheim expected to come online in 2033. While an authentic bullet train, similar to those found overseas in Japan, Europe, and China, is at least a decade away here in California, we may have other options for getting fast train service sooner. Congress in Washington recently passed a $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill that includes $66 billion for the modernization and expansion of existing passenger rail and freight rail corridors throughout the United States. While our high-speed rail project won't be receiving additional funds to speed up its completion, this infrastructure package is a win for California's existing commuter rail and intercity passenger train service. Metrolink, which operates across 5 Southern California counties, is planning a modernization program. Upgrades to the network would include the construction of additional tracking to increase the capacity of trains arriving and departing per hour, in addition to electrification. The Metrolink Integrated Service and Capital Plan supports trains every 15 minutes in both directions. After the electrification of the Antelope Valley line from LA Union Station to Santa Clarita, the Ventura County line to Moore Park, and the Orange County line to Laguna Niguel. Metrolink's current plan for electrification would allow all-day high-frequency service, but more improvements are required on the corridor corridors that aren't directly tied to Phase 1 of the high-speed rail. Off-peak frequencies of 1 to 2 trains per hour would apply to other lines on the network, including the San Bernardino line, the busiest on the Metrolink system. Modernization of the entire Metrolink regional rail system could result in frequencies of 8 or more trains arriving and departing per hour on each line. Electric train sets are lighter and faster than traditional diesel locomotives used on existing passenger rail services in California, where the bullet train will require a dedicated right-of-way to achieve speeds over 200 miles per hour. Modern electric trains, such as the Avelia Pendolino series by French manufacturer Alstom, can reach speeds up to 160 miles per hour on existing track infrastructure. Alstom's Tiltronics technology enables 30% higher speeds on curves by allowing trains to tilt at an angle up to 8%. Since less braking is required before curves, tilting technology results in shorter journey times on conventional rail networks. With minimum investment in new infrastructure, Alstom will deliver 28 new Avelia train sets to service Amtrak's Acela line that connects Washington, D.C. to Boston. Southern California's Lausanne Rail Corridor is the nation's second busiest intercity rail corridor outside the Northeast Corridor, connecting Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, and Boston. The 351-mile Lausanne Corridor connects Los Angeles, San Diego, Santa Barbara, and San Luis Obispo. The Los Angeles to San Diego segment of the Lausanne is 128 miles long and carries Amtrak's Pacific Surfliner, LA's Metrolink Orange County Line, and San Diego's Costa Regional Rail services. Currently, 51% of the San Diego segment of the Lausanne Corridor is a single track that both freight and passenger trains must share. Due to the tremendous increase in population, tourism, and economic growth in Southern California, sharing a single track creates delays and constrains passenger train service hours. Modernizing the corridor from San Diego to Santa Barbara and San Luis Obispo with additional tracks and electrification would accommodate faster, more maneuverable train sets that can clear the journey from end to end in a fraction of the current travel time. Based on the California high-speed rail electrification cost, it is estimated that retrofitting the Lausanne corridor between San Diego and Los Angeles would cost about $800 million. Modernizing the Lausanne corridor will help it meet current and future demand and decrease delays and schedule conflicts between the operators. Providing regional transit that is faster than driving on the freeways is a promising possibility, but only if transportation agencies all over California invest to ensure a quick and seamless mobility experience is available for everyone. Without unifying all transit modes and providing various mobility options, many Californians will continue to choose a private automobile or rideshare to get from A to B. Statewide car dependency wreaks havoc on our air quality and negatively impacts land use decisions when planning and designing our cities. The vast majority of California cities require new residential and commercial developments to be constructed with ample on-site parking, whether or not the additional parking spaces are needed or desired. Constructing parking structures for new multifamily housing is costly, and that expense gets included in the rent for prospective tenants. Because living near jobs, schools, and transit is now a commodity, property developers can advertise as an amenity. Many Californians have to choose between a long commute, settling for uncomfortable roommate situations, or extended working hours to cover inflated housing costs. Expanding and electrifying rail corridors statewide would remove tens of thousands of polluting cars and freight vehicles from our roads and highway networks. Statewide electric rail service would be environmentally beneficial compared to flying and would replace most domestic flights between Los Angeles, San Diego, Burbank, San Jose, Oakland, Las Vegas, and San Francisco 365 days a year. Unfortunately, oil companies have a history of fighting clean mass transit projects and denying the impact climate change will have on existing life on Earth.
We also talked about a deeper bond with the product. Nostalgia. It's delicate, but potent.
freedom to travel safely and quickly and comfortably on our highways is not a little freedom, but a big one.
Listen.
Actually, there is no harmful effects of the fumes, and numerous tests have been made on that account.
Stop.
Bless these, our nation's road builders.
And their friends.
Your children will have a better country to live in because of these new roads.
Can't you see that this highway means a whole new way of life for the children?
As I was saying, oil companies and automobile manufacturers will lose billions annually once electrified high-speed rail service arrives in California. By eliminating the need for parking, cities in California would be making it easier and cheaper to build more homes near high-quality mass transit. Accessible cities are built for diversity, inclusion, and equality regardless of age, ability, religion, financial stability, ethnicity, sexual orientation, gender identity, or political views. They ensure fair and equal access to urban amenities. The truly accessible city provides affordable housing and accessible home ownership, inclusive decision making with transparent governance, and fosters community involvement. That is why we are developing a master plan for California that designs housing, schools, job opportunities, parks, and public services around a state-of-the-art electric rail network. Greetings, California. I'm Mars Caldera, your new architect, and this is Imaginary Lines, Return to Form, Space, and Order.